My name's Todd McLeod, and I'm tenured faculty at Fresno City College. I've been teaching there since 2000 full-time. I started teaching at the university and college level in 1997. And let me bring this up. My kids sent me on a journey. I don't know how many people in the room are parents here. Yeah, so you've probably experienced this. Kids change your life. And it's awesome. I love it. It's wonderful. But my wife and I, we became pregnant in 2013, and I needed to make some extra money. And and we wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. And so that was kind of like a big job, to do. Is like, how do I replace her income? And I was like, well, I know how to teach. And I've done online education since 1997. I started teaching online in 1997. I studied online ed in the early 2000s at University of California, San Diego. And then at Fresno City College in the State Center Community College District, we created the online teacher training program where I helped start, run, and I taught in the online teacher training program to teach all of the college faculty in Central California how to teach online. And then it also happens that I teach web programming. So in 2013, I need to make some extra money. So Oliver is, I look at my kids, it makes me want to cry. Oliver was, due in August, and Lillian wasn't here yet. And so I was like, well, I know how to teach. So, I'd stay up late after my wife had gone to bed, and I started creating a course on how to use Microsoft Excel. And after a couple of months, I put that course on the web, and the first month I made $60, which is a little disappointing. Because I'd worked like 3 months. And the next month I made 80, and I thought, oh, that's promising. All right, we're going up. Just keep going up. Every month by 20 we'll be good. Well, the third month I made $60 again. But then the fourth month went up. I don't remember the exact figure, but it was more. And then the fifth month went up, and after a couple of months it was like $300, $350, $400 a month from one course. And I thought, that's pretty good. If I make 10 courses and they're each doing $300 to $400 a month, I've replaced their income. I could do 10 courses. Right? Because I'm inspired. I'll stay up late. I'll work hard for my kids. I love my kids. And in the last 5 months, last year, it took off. And it's pretty amazing. So it's one thing, like I teach introduction to computers, I teach computer science and CIT, computer information technology, and web programming. It's one thing to know there's like 7 billion plus people in the world and that like 4 billion plus are online. It's another thing to like look at 1,000 people taking a course where you charge $20 for it, a nominal fee, so it's like totally accessible to everybody in the world. It's another thing when like, hey, here's my $20 course and 1,000 people take it in 1 month. Because it's like, wow, not only did I replace my wife's income, but I've also like generated enough money to start paying down the house. And so what I discovered is like, there's a way for us as educators, there's a long tradition in academia of educators writing textbooks, publishing them, and getting paid a royalty. And we've built a platform, because what I discovered was like, there's this great way that you could help the world. So you could teach at scale, you could help at scale, you could help people at scale, and that's why I became a teacher. I love helping people. My dad was a teacher, my grandfather's a teacher. So you could teach at scale, you could help at scale, and you could also get paid at scale. So we created a platform where, just like in the past, you could write a textbook and you could have that textbook published and get a royalty on it. Now you could create an online course and you could publish that online course and you could get paid a royalty on it. And so you could help people all around the world with what you know how to do, your skill set, the knowledge of what your domain of expertise and passion is, also the skills and knowledge that you have as a teacher. You could take those and create an online course and offer it to the world and help people all around the world and also get paid at scale. So we created Greater Commons, myself and some former students, and it's started by students and teachers, it's run by students and teachers, it's owned by students and teachers, and it's for students and teachers. So this is like organic for our community as educators. Now lynda.com, I've taught on lynda.com, I've taught on other online platforms because that's what I love to do, I love to teach. And there's things that these other platforms weren't doing that I wish they were. Right? Like, why don't they have this? Why don't they have that? So finally I just was like, we're gonna build our own. So over the last year, there have been several of us who built this product where we can all now, as teachers, sell our courses to the world. And because I teach web programming, we know how all this works, we're able to offer a really high royalty back to teachers, 50%, right down the middle. So if you create classes and you put them on our platform, people all around the world can benefit from it, and whatever revenue is generated, you get half of that. And the other half goes for paying for hosting and servers and bandwidth streaming and people to program it. And so the amazing thing is here is, I don't know if y'all are, so this is just going to be kind of a short introduction, and like with 20 years of experience in online education, like I was kind of surprised to realize I have this amazing skill set, you know, from all the studying and research and applied practice. And so one of the courses that I'll introduce you to is Best Practices for Online Teaching, where I'm going to teach you to do what I've done and show you what's worked for me. And so you'll have access to that. And you'll be able to look at what worked for Todd McLeod. And, you know, he had good success, you know, like, hey, measured success. He had good success doing it this way. Let me see what he did, and I'll take what I like and leave what I don't. And then I'll create my own classes and help people, and also be able to generate a little income to help my family, the practical realities of life, and my loved ones, pay rent, put food on the table. But here's Michigan Stadium, and I have a family who, they're faculty back in Michigan. And my brother-in-law is one of the world's leading chemistry professors. And so it's cool to be able to go back to Ann Arbor. And this is the largest stadium in the world. So this is something I just want to show you to get an idea of the potential to help people, the potential to help people. This is the largest stadium in America. It holds 115,000 people. Last year, I taught 528,000 people online, over 500,000 people. Wow. That is 4.6 times this many people, right? Like, now if you were to say, Todd, you're going to teach a class, your lectern's right there in the middle of the field. Are you ready? I'd be a little bit nervous. And it was 4.6 times that big. But, you know, it's also, you know, really amazing to look at the potential for impact upon the lives of others. In my academic career at the community college, maybe I will serve 200 students a semester. And you can see the numbers down there, 200 students a semester, and there's 2 semesters a year. Maybe I'll work for 30 years. That's 12,000 students whose lives I will touch in a full academic career with my passion, knowledge, wisdom, skills, perspectives on life, right? In 1 year, 44.1 times the impact which I would have in my entire life at Fresno City College in terms of lives touched. And so there's 2 gentlemen here with me today, Steve and Andrew. Steve's from New Jersey, Andrew's from Seattle, and they took my online classes. And then they asked me some questions, and we started talking, and then we became friends. And then I said, I have this idea, I want to build this business. They said, we want to build it with you. And that's like the amazing power. There's a way to teach at scale which doesn't result in thousands of papers to grade every month. So just to give you an example, and I'm going to give you resources which will teach you all of the things I've learned. But here's just one little insight into that in terms of I call it world-class teaching, because the world's your class. Now the world is your class. You get to teach everybody in the world. And world-class, the other meaning of world-class, best-in-class, right? You have the opportunity to teach the world with best-in-class practices. So that's world-class teaching. I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
Something about that joined you to build a business?
Oh yeah, thank you, the resources. And then I was going to give you one little technique, teaching at skills, so you don't teach, you know, have to grade thousands of papers every month. So what you do is you want to just have as much automated assessment as possible, and we have like an entire LMS in our system that lets you do this stuff. So self-graded quizzes, right? So they could take a quiz, and if they get the wrong answer, you've already entered what the feedback is as to why they got that wrong answer, so that they get the appropriate feedback. So self-grading quizzes. And then also, students need hands-on exercises. So it's a 3-step process where you like teach them a concept. Here's the concept. And then you give them a hands-on exercise, a challenge in the next video. And then at the end of that, the third video, you show them the solution so they could self-assess. So we're not accredited, right? This isn't accredited. This is for people who have already like got their degrees, they're out in the workforce, or they never got degrees, or they're like my friend Daniel in Nigeria, who's also a student who's become a friend now, who just doesn't have access to educational resources, or I had another student in Yemen recently, and they don't have access to colleges and universities. And so it's like, wow, this is so great. I'm learning this from, you know, the most current technology because of this. And so you do that 3-step process where it's teach them a concept, give them a hands-on exercise to reinforce it, and then you also show them the solution in the third video. And that allows them to self-assess. And so with 500,000 students last year, I'd get like maybe 5 to 10 questions a day. And for the money that was being generated, that's worth my work hours to answer those 5 to 10 questions, both for intrinsic rewards. I love helping people. I love staying sharp. I love the questions I get about programming. I teach programming because it's like, wow, it's a really good question. Makes me think, how would I answer that? How do I solve that? And the extrinsic rewards are also awesome. It's blown me away. It literally has blown me away, the amount of people that I could help. And it's one thing to see all those faces, you know, just the big crowd of colors. But it's another thing when you actually start to look at the people. Like, these are the people. Out of the 528,000 last year, here are a few of the faces, you know, and a few more. And a few more, like people all over the world, India, China, Africa. And so it's so wonderful. This gentleman down here in the lower right corner is Barnabas. And he is from, I want to say Serbia, but that's not the right country. What's that beautiful, Hungary. He's from Hungary, thank you. And so he took my programming courses, and then he started coding to help us build this solution, this Greater Commons platform. And he's flying in Thursday to LA to spend the summer with us, you know? And so it's like, I'm not saying that you need to now start hosting your students, you know, if you do this, but it's just showing you like how amazing this opportunity is, like, you know, to help people and impact people's lives and also to generate a little extra money. And so those are like some of the students who've helped create Greater Commons. And so here is where you could go at the conference. There's this course, and let me show it to you. Let me just get out of this for a second. You'd go to Greater Commons /begin. But there's a course down here, World-Class Online Teaching. Teach online for fun, profit, and to help others. So this course is going to show you all of my best practices. It's like a 12-hour course. Plus it'll give you experiential learning to see how I've created these courses. And so you'll get to experience, okay, how is this course created? So you got that one technique of let them self-assess, concept, exercise, you know, and then solution in 3 separate videos. You got that one technique. And then man, I've just been talking so much, my brain is in neutral. But so this course will show you everything that I've used and give you that experiential learning for how it's done, including like how to create, you know, these great outlines for your course. And so here's that outline for the course, which corresponds to the course, and how to gather all your student resources and which equipment to purchase. Like you see a camera back here with a wireless microphone. All of that is covered in the course. Effective teaching techniques. How do you talk to the camera, to the lens of the camera? And this is what I wanted to say. And the importance of you being on screen as a teacher. How that allows your humanity to touch the humanity of others. So my mentor when I became a teacher was Kenny Hallstone, professor of psychology at Fresno City College. And he had great personality, and he took me under his wing and really helped me become a better teacher. And I look at how far I've progressed as a teacher since I started. But, you know, allowing one's humanity to connect with the humanity of others. For all of our evolution as humans, we've communicated by seeing each other. So many online classes today, you go look at them, and it's like, it's a voiceover screen recording, and you don't see the instructor. And so by putting your face out there and recording your face, and then like minimizing your face down to yourself down to the corner so they see what you want to show on the screen, if that's the content, and showing them something on the screen, and then have your face come back up as you talk to them, and then looking at the camera not as a cold, impersonal glass eye, oh my gosh, a camera, but looking at it as if it's a window that allows you to see across space and time and look into the eyes of another student and actually picturing another student. And so like in my courses, this is what Kenny taught me. In my courses, I teach the course content. Like if I'm teaching you Excel, I'm going to teach you absolute references. But then afterwards, you know, okay, now we're done with absolute references, and just like you would in the classroom, you start talking and chatting with your students. Let me tell you the story about my friend Daniel, you know, and you share a little life wisdom with them. And so for me, there's this thing that it's not only the course content, but also motivation, inspiration, wisdom. You know, students need both. Hold on, we'll get to motivation, inspiration, and it's going to start over again. I love programming. So they need skills, they need knowledge, they need wisdom. This is like they need motivation, and they need inspiration. right? So they need the course content, but there's also that other stuff that they also need. And so I call that the hierarchy of education. Just like Maslow had his hierarchy of needs, man, at the ground level, you need skills. You need to know how to brush your teeth, take a shower, get your hair cut, dress for success, right? And then you need knowledge. So let's talk about literature. You need some knowledge. And then you need some wisdom, because what is intelligence without wisdom, as General Omar Bradley said, And then on top of that, motivation and inspiration. And so for me, that's what makes great courses and allows my humanity to connect with the humanity of a bunch of others without me having to answer 1,000 discussion board posts every week, or without me having to grade 1,000 papers each week. It's like me in my garage, and then I teach about recursion, then I sit back and I'm sipping a beer and I've got my baseball cap on backwards, and my family's asleep, and it's 1 in the morning. I'm like, all right, now that you got recursion, let me tell you that story about my friend Daniel. And then I, literally sometimes I've missed it up on camera, and it just impacts people, and sharing that additional course within the course. So the main takeaway from this presentation is if you want to know a synthesis of 20 years of education and me being educated by others, research, my own research, and then also my own applied experience with online education, if you want a crash course synthesis and best practices which has resulted in measured success both in impacting the lives of others and in generating great economic return, this class right here will give that to you. And will make you a better teacher. I've learned from other teachers, and much of what I've learned I've poured into that class. It's about 12 hours long. It's only $20. So that's the first main takeaway. For you to become a better teacher, there is the resource, because I can't teach you everything in one hour, particularly after you've been inundated with information and statistics and studies for the last day and a half. So take this, and you could take that home and go through it in your own time. And then the second thing is there's an amazing opportunity for you to teach at scale, to help others at scale, and also to get paid at scale. And we've created this platform, teachers and students, by teachers and students, for teachers and students, so that you can publish your online courses and offer them to the world and get paid a royalty for that. So that's the other main takeaway from today's presentation. All right, so who has questions? I saw the first hand right there. Let's hear it. Yeah, so I'll pass out my business cards. Let me get those going right now. Hold on one sec. So we launched this platform 3 weeks ago. Before that, it was just me selling my own classes. And the review process is that when you're ready to start recording your course, just email me. Send me a test video. Upload it to YouTube. Send me the link. Let me look at it. So record your test video. And I'll tell you if the sound quality or if something needs to be fixed about it. I'll also need the files to look at the files. And so when we have your production quality good and all that's taught in my course, like which equipment to use and how to make the videos, how to edit them. I saw how many people did the editing videos on Monday workshop. A couple people. Editing videos, creating videos. Yeah. So you'll learn that in my course too. So we review, make sure your production quality is good, and then we give you total academic freedom to create the course the way you want to create it. You have complete autonomy, and you could create it however you want to create it. And so the market will determine whether or not you did it well or not, But that's the review process. The next hand I saw was the gentleman with the gray beard. Yeah, so what is the good length for a course online? So it could be, you just need to deliver value. And it could be 2 to 3 hours. This class here is, I think, 12 hours. My shortest class is one of my most successful classes. It's Excel. That's 6 hours. And I have a class that's a full semester length class. It's 32 hours of video content.
What do you charge for that?
$20.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, several hundred people take it every month, so it's totally worth it to me. And I love to help people. So the question is once somebody buys a course, how long do they have to take it? And it's, again, the book analogy is pretty good here. It's like a book. You have it for the rest of your life. Unless the instructor who created the course decides they no longer want it on our platform, because if you create the course as the instructor, you own the intellectual property. You own that, right? You own your course. You have given us a license to sell it, And the license is stipulated such, and this is all in our instructor agreement on our website. My friend who's an attorney wrote it all up for us, right? The license is such that, we split it, the royalties 50-50, but if any time you want to take your course away, take it away, that's fine. You're done with it on our platform, that's fine. And at that point, the license will terminate that you've given us in 7 months. Just in case, like on Monday, a student enrolled, and on Tuesday you decide to take your course off, the student who just enrolled will have access to that course for 6 months, so they could get through it. They'd be notified this course is going away in 6 months, so get on learning. And then we have 1 more month after that 6 months for the students to finish out to take the course off the platform. So that's how that works. Great question. Yeah. Yeah, so right now there are only 3 classes. We just turned this on 3 weeks ago. These are my 3 classes, my most recent 3 classes. The other classes that I had out there, I'm going to redo them before I put them on our platform. So it's a ground floor opportunity to help, grow with us and to get in before anybody else and become some of our rock star instructors and all of us succeed together kind of a deal. Sure. So there's an entire social media thing which, was foreign to me when I started out. I didn't even really understand hashtags, and even though I'm into programming, there's part of me that's like, social media. But I got into social media, and that really was pretty amazing and effective, and had over 1 million views on YouTube, and lots of people following me on Twitter. And so I teach how I did all of my marketing in this course so that you can also do that with your courses. But one thing you really want to make sure when you create this course, just as if you were writing a textbook, you want to do it in your own time, not on school time. You want to do it with your own equipment, not on school equipment. So weekends, after hours, summers, then it's your content. You own it, not the school. That's generally how most academic IP policies work between the institution and the faculty. And so, so not integrated with Canvas right now, but what I do is I'll okay, I got to revamp that course. I'm going to do that over the summer on my computer. I create that whole course, publish it, and then when I'm ready to use it at school, I just let my students at school use it at a discounted rate, or I'd even give them free access to it. And then it's as if I wrote a textbook and I'm using it in the classroom, but I'm not having my students pay the textbook $150 fee that the publisher makes me charge. Right, I could give it to them for as little as possible, just above cost. So, yeah. So 2 thoughts on that. And what I've discovered after teaching for a long time is here's the textbook, read chapter 1, and now let me show you my take on this content, this material, with the slides I've developed because I got tired of using the publisher's presentations, and so. I don't even in my campus classes, after I've taught a class a long time, really teach out of the book. And so for me, the book is just another resource for the students. And so when I teach classes online like this, I say, hey, if you want a great book that parallels this material, you could buy this book. But then I might parallel that book, and talk about the concepts in the same order as in the book, but I'm not using anything from the book. I'm not using their presentations, I'm not using their verbiage, it's me presenting that material in my own way, and I've recommended the book. That's the first thought, one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to actually contact the people who publish the book and say, look, I'm thinking about doing this thing, I'd like to use your book in an online class environment that's a for-profit endeavor, which changes intellectual property fair use considerations in the eyes of the law, because it's for-profit. Would you all be okay with me having my students buy this book for this course and then teaching this online out of this book? And if they say yes, you're good to go.
So we can.
You need their permission. I love it. A man with short words. Now you know why my courses are 12 hours. What?
You'll have to have the students purchase the book.
Yeah, or you could say it's optional and you'll get 90%. If you also want to reinforce what you're learning through reading because you happen to learn well from reading, you can pick up this book because we'll be learning this material in the same paces as that book teaches it, and this parallels. So yeah, so since it's not accredited, it's just lifelong learning, and it's for people who are motivated to acquire some new knowledge and skills. That's you don't have to have the same standards of I can verify this person actually learned this content. So you just teach the content, and then you give them a challenge or a case study in the next video, and in the following video or series of videos you provide the solution to that, and they could self-assess and self-grade, and that actually is in some ways better learning. And that's another really neat thing about teaching on this platform is like, wow, man, these students are really motivated. You know, they just want to learn it to learn it. They're not here to get a degree and just trying to get through a class. They're like, I totally want to know how to do this. You know, so it's neat to connect with those passionate, driven people. Yes, glasses. Sorry, we'll get to you right after him. You know, we'll cover all the material here in this course overview. And in all my courses, I talk to my students about what's it take to succeed. And so I just include this in this course too, my thoughts on like Angela Duckworth's work on grit and persistence, and then things teachers have taught me. And then like helping you determine which classes would be best, aligning the courses you create with your goals, whether it's to teach something you're passionate about, really love this, even though not many people are going to be interested in Vipassana meditation, I'm going to teach it anyhow. Or if my goal is I want to reach a lot of people and I got to generate some money, okay, Excel is going to be a better bet. So, you know, thinking about that. And then we talk about the recording equipment. So what is the recording equipment? And I have a list in here of all of my current, let's get that little thing out of the way, all of my current recommendations for hardware, depending upon your price. And so and then, you know, I show you how to use that stuff. So for instance, if you wanted to get into it you only have a couple $100, this camera here is $250. B&H Photo is a wonderful place. They have great experts, talk to them. They'll get you a nice HD camera so you could capture the instructor. And then you could use something called OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, which is the best recording software out there right now. I can say that with confidence through many years of experience. And it's free. It's open source, and I teach you how to use OBS in here. If you want to bump everything up a notch, get a 4K monitor, and a 4K monitor is going to cost you about $350 because now you can record your screen at 4K, bring it into your editing environment. I recommend Adobe Premiere, $20 a month while you're using it. Bring it into your editing environment, take that 4K, shrink it down to HD, right? And now when you need to zoom into that HD, you have all those extra pixels there which you recorded so you don't pixelate, and your screen quality stays production level sharp, beautiful. And so it looks like, wow, this is at the quality of, you know, things you'd expect from a big corporate production facility. But all you need is that 4K monitor, you know, and this, you know, which is $350, this camera, which is $250, and OBS, which is free, and then when you're ready to edit, $20 a month. And so to create a course, you're looking at best quality, $350, $250, $500, $600, and then $600 in hardware for the camera and the screen. You got to have your own computer, so you might need to go buy that at Costco or wherever. And then $20 a month when you're ready to edit. So if you create it over 5 months in your free time in the evenings, and I found it really fun. Like, you know, I set it up in my garage, and then I'd go out there and I'd just record a lecture or two every evening, and then I'd be thinking the next day, oh, this is what I want to tell them tonight, you know, and oh, I'm going to add that in. And I get home, everybody go to bed, I record those two. And then the next night, I keep this course outline so that I could track what I've talked about, you know. And did I already talk? Oh, I told them that story way back a month and a half ago, you know. And so that's the equipment you need, and that's the process. This is a Canon, and you could grab a picture of it. Or what is that there, Steve? Canon, does it say on the front lens? Has an HFR 800 or something? On the front, does it say on the front lens, on the white, there's a HFR 800? A Canon Vixia HFR 800. And that's nice because it has an audio jack. And that audio jack allowed me to connect this lapel mic for this wireless mic, which is Sony. And you want to talk to B&H because it's always changing. Talk to B&H, figure out what's the best one to get. But that was $650 for this wireless mic. But they also sell other lapel mics which help you get better sound. The closer the mic is to your mouth, you can hear that right now. My sound is really good, really resonant. I sound like a broadcaster. And then I get back a little bit and it just drops away. Right? So the closer you get the mic to your mouth, the better you're. And so when you see some of these people on YouTube, and it looks a little weird to me. They're like, "Hi, welcome," and you see that it's just right in front of their mouth, so they can get that really nice sound. All right, other questions? Yeah. So when you create a course, there's an option for what language you want to create the course in, and I love that. I want to see things in all languages. Yeah, it's just, you're looking at them. we look at it and we're like, that's an awesome course. I don't know what she's saying, but she looks confident. And let's have somebody who speaks that language teach it. I love her vibe. I love her vibe. She's awesome. So let's put it out there and see what happens. That's literally like our approval process.